Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
Is that good advice?
Can you shout that at me a few more times? Because until you do,
Be aggressive.
probably for most of the time we're together, I won't be. I won't know to be.
I would prefer if you would be agreeable. Be pleasant.
Egregious?
Be pleasant. How's that?
Kind.
Be lugubrious?
Unless you're, in the Ukraine right now and you're fighting an invading force, then you need to be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
It's Cheerleader Safety Month. So these are a bunch of movies with I guess, a bunch of don'ts in them. When you say these are unsafe suggestions for cheer.
Oh, yes.
If you are a cheerleader or if you have one in your life.
The movies we are going to cover will be ironic when you think about the theme.
Well, there are also warning signs for cheerleaders. Don't go to sketchy camps.
That's
Red
right.
flags.
Stay away. Stay away.
So we're getting into
Send me my way.
Cheerleader Camp, a movie that you can, I think, only find on YouTube right now.
It's the only place we could find.
Was it 1988?
I
Yes.
didn't know you could put titties on YouTube.
Oh yeah, you can.
Oh,
you can-
fuck yeah.
Clearly.
I have YouTube.
Like,
Can
they
you put
don't-
titties on me.
Here's the thing. Like, if you're just some average YouTuber and you're trying to show your tits, you're going to get shut down. You put an R-rated movie on YouTube that they don't shut down. Well,
So
I
the titties slip by them.
Well, it's not that. It's just legally
It's part of the art.
they're not liable because that movie took the legal brunt of filming those people, and they're responsible for making sure everybody did it willingly.
I actually don't know that that's the legal reason. I do think it
it's
just
just
slips
Really?
through. Yeah.
You don't think that it's just one of
If
those
nobody
things.
reports it,
There's no
they don't notice
I
it.
guarantee people will report that shit all day long. I think that they have no risk involved on their end. They can't lose money by leaving it up.
I don't think that's you could be right, but I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
it is a matter because it's community guidelines. There's no nudity.
Yeah.
So I think that, but there are,
But they don't consider
so,
filmmakers part of that community, right?
They do because it's not filmmakers putting their films up there. If
No,
if
what
a
I mean
movie is on
I'm
there,
just
it's a
saying
user.
just from a legal standpoint. I mean, like the creation of the video, not. I guess I'm phrasing this poorly, but what I'm saying is
We don't know.
they have
what you're saying.
series. They are also now a production studio. They have YouTube Red.
Yeah.
So they legally, that entity, I know this is a weird in the weeds thing, but it's interesting to me too.
We're gonna
What's
call
interesting
this,
to me, too-
Night of the Legal podcast.
Because this, honestly, if this changes, like it would, a lot of movies that we can't find anywhere else because so many of them have nudity in them will disappear forever.
Well, no, I don't think that's it's just a YouTube. I don't think it has anything to do with how the legality of putting nudity on film. I think literally on YouTube when users upload movies, I don't think it has anything to do with it being a movie or not. I just don't think that their algorithm or their
Do they have a titty algorithm?
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Facebook does.
So
Facebook has titty and dick algorithms.
So my question,
they do. It's not a joke.
No,
they
I
do.
believe
No,
you.
I'm laughing at the idea that was somebody's job.
I got put in.
That's their official title.
I got put in Facebook jail twice for posting pictures of dicks. Not mine.
unreported. Like no human being reported them. The system caught it.
Yeah.
It went to somebody else for verification.
And it was in a private group. And I don't know that it went to a person for verification.
You think, like, I wonder if you have to challenge it, like as the person posting, and say that is my grandchild.
No, you would have to, because as somebody who works in advertising, Facebook's ad approval algorithm will fuck up constantly. And no human being, like, just because the system threw an error, no human being looked at it. You have to choose to challenge it.
Because it looks like a dick, it can get screened out.
Sure.
It looks like a dick.
It looks like a boobie, it can get screened out.
If it jiggles like a titty.
But now you can't. But on Facebook, if it is painted or drawn, you can have nudity out the yin yang all day long. Same with Instagram. Although sometimes I have seen art get reported on Instagram.
Well, yeah.
But I think they have the same rules as Facebook. So
Same company.
But YouTube, because again, a lot of times when users upload movie, they're not supposed to upload a movie. So no movies are supposed to be on YouTube that aren't rentable. You're not supposed to be able to get full movie, Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Do you know why that is?
Why what is?
Well, I'm just wondering if
because
why they're not allowed to upload movies.
Oh no,
the uploader doesn't know the movie.
No. That's not what I mean. Is like I'm just trying to figure out where the weak link in the chain that YouTube is. That Kelley can go out there and say, "Hey YouTube, this is my dick," and an algorithm picks that up and automatically removes it from the streaming service.
That was a bad title to your video.
Yet this movie could have like 12 titties in it, and the algorithm that supposedly just detects titties doesn't work all of a sudden. That's the part I'm confused about.
Well, it's not a perfect. I mean, there are thousands of things that are uploaded to YouTube daily.
Probably hundreds of thousands of individual titties.
Yeah, we should spam YouTube with titties and
so
see what goes through.
So don't think about the titties not getting picked up by the algorithm.
I can't stop.
But here's the thing: don't think about the titties and the dicks not getting picked up. Think about the fact that the entire movie wasn't screened out.
Yeah,
right.
A user, like, before you even get to the titties, no user by YouTube's guidelines should be uploading a full movie for free to be viewed.
What if the rights are? It might be. This movie could possibly be in the public domain, couldn't it?
I guess sometimes that might happen.
Idea.
Is it 25 years?
34 years old at this point.
But
like nobody cared enough to renew the rights.
And sometimes, I mean, that's probably how most of the movies you see on YouTube that are full movies are on there. They might be public domain, or it might be the way the person encoded it. But I think if they catch you with titties, it gets removed. They catch a movie that you don't own and it's not public domain, it gets removed.
What are you doing with those titties?
I pictured, I
got you with titties.
Like when you're going to the movies and you're sneaking in your own candy.
Sneaking in titties.
Yeah, they like, open your shirt. What's in there? Those titties.
But here's the thing. To be fair to you also, it might be a thing where, and it's it's encompassed in a large, maybe the algorithm or whatever takes certain contexts into account.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can I tell you why I think about this so intensely and why, like...
Yes.
Titties or algorithms?
Both. Algorithms. Like, it is that whole fear of AI a little bit where I'm like, we just automate certain things and then we're going to automate an actual, like, whatever the public decency call is in this situation to a machine. And, like, and it's got to delineate what is art. It's like that is a very deep fucking well to go down.
I don't think that the AI is delineating what is art and what is not. I think it has a finite set of parameters.
I was thinking about what you said about art, like nudity in art seems to get through.
Well, but I don't know that it's I don't know that there is a thing where it's like, is this objectively art? Like, I think that
it's a drawing.
There are parameters that it can identify how many titties are in this, how, you know what I mean? Is there sexual, I think there are certain things that probably then do go to human review.
Yeah.
Well, I feel Cheerleader Camp is art because I had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah. I did too.
Love
I can't wait to get
Cheerleader
into the nitty gritty on this one, the nitty titty gritty.
The titty gritty.
Can I just say how much I love the word titties?
Titties.
It's a great word.
It's a great word.
It's better when you think of it as having two D's.
Two D's.
instead of
I
two
agree.
T's in the
I
middle.
love the two D's.
Or titties.
Titties. This is great. Titties is very sexy to me. Two D's. Double D. What's the double D's? It's
titties. You like titties.
Oh, yeah.
With a D.
Titties nuts.
With a double D.
And Andy's going to do My Butt Can't Fart Unless I Number 2.
Yeah.
For straight to video, Russian Roulette. Which is like a more serious movie than Cheerleader.
Yeah, indeed.
From what I can tell.
It was a whiplash.
It's hard art.
I watched them back to back and I was like, oh, my neck.
Did you really?
It hurt.
Did you watch them in sequence?
Yeah.
And then like you started with cheerleader camp?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I ended with titties.
Yeah.
That was probably
Which you
good.
should.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah. That's how you should send yourself off to bed.
Just watch some titties every night.
Yeah.
I feel like us discussing cheerleader camp on YouTube is going to get it taken down. So watch it while you can.
Yeah, watch it. And I apologize if like I ruined somebody's fun. I just am curious. Like this conversation.
He's just a curious little fella.
Who said to Andy? It was you that said you didn't know they could put titties up there. That like I always am like so pleasantly surprised when I see titties on YouTube.
Well, if you want, you can go down a Reddit. I'm sure you can find answers to this on Reddit.
I'm gonna look into it. I'm curious.
Go to Explain It Like I'm 5. That's probably gonna be the best place to find your answer.
And where the way I would need it put to me.
That's where I go.
Obviously,
I like to cruise that just to learn things that I didn't know. I'm like,
I
I
read all
had
the
that
time.
same question.
Yeah. Stork, total bullshit, man.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Bet.
I know.
Where do babies come from then?
The Cabbage Patch, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
They're
guess
the garbage pail.
That makes sense.
Or the garbage pail. They go from the Cabbage Patch to the garbage pail. It's the Cabbage
those are the
Patch
bad-
to garbage
those are
to
the
the
bad
pail
cabbages.
pipeline.
If you don't get them soon enough,
Yeah.
like you gotta get them before they go bad.
With the advent of the internet, there's an algorithm that detects how many boogers there are, and it assigns them to one or the other based on their booger to snot quotient.
Well, there's also there's that moment, sometimes you want something override. Like once it gets to the garbage, between the Cabbage Patch and the garbage pail, there is an unusable kid. But like, so if you get them out of the Cabbage Patch fresh, you got a beautiful kid. You got a Cabbage Patch kid. But at a certain point, they get to, they're soft. But if you wait for them to get in the garbage pail, then they become a whole different thing.
Yeah, you get a leather jacket
and now
on
you
them.
have like an edgy, snot-nosed creature, and so they've come good again.
Well, I'm afraid what global warming is going to do to all these Cabbage Patch kids. We're going to have so many more garbage pail kids. We don't do with them. So that's another reason why it should be
GMO kids.
Swamp crotch kids.
Greta is trying to save us from all these garbage pail kids that are going to come about.
If they still made garbage pail kids on the level they did in the 80s, we would have a Greta.
Oh, I was just going to say, do you
Garbage
think
pail kid.
there's a Greta there? I do think they do sometimes do weird runs.
They would be like Greta,
garbage pail kids. There might be
Thun Booger or Grossa. I don't know. I'm not a garbage pail kid author, creator,
I think
artist.
Thorn Booger would probably be right.
Yeah,
And she'd be full of like sharp, thorny boogers.
Vladimir Putin. He just farts.
She'd just be bloody nose.
I love it.
I do too.
I bet Putin does fart a
Ooh,
lot.
Donald Dump. Is this him taking a
Oh, he's
shit?
just a big poop.
Yeah.
What if he is a big pile of shit with a blonde wig on, like Chet from Weird Science?
I don't know if Putin shit or farts a lot, but I bet he has. I bet he only has loose stools.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
really?
frequent loose
He's
stools.
a diarrhea boy, I can tell.
Is that why he's just so angry all the time?
I think he's just whatever he's doing. Like he is not
You
taking
better
care
have
of his
somebody
nutrition.
tasting your food, Kelly.
Yeah.
Which son do you love less?
Well, I mean,
Speaking of Kelly's sons,
Oh yes.
your youngest is officially a licensed driver in the state of Ohio.
And not just, but he has been granted a weapon.
A car is a weapon.
A giant,
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant he got concealed carry or
not
something.
Malibu
well regulated.
45.
It's worse.
He has a gun and he's driving.
Is it manual or fully automatic?
It's fully automatic. Yeah. No, he's my youngest son, 16, got his driver's license in January, and now today received his mother's 2015 Chevrolet Malibu.
Thank
So
you
if you
for all
see
the
that
detail.
coming,
And I'm
So,
not trying to.
is
I'm not
he-
trying to insult other
color?
2015. It's red.
Okay.
Not to insult other 2015 Malibu drivers, but that is not.
But-
It is not as. It looks bigger on the outside. It's the opposite of a TARDIS.
Oh dear.
It is so cramped on the inside, and you're like, why did we buy this?
why'd they name this after like a spacious beach town?
Yeah. Well, maybe the
Malibu,
original
yeah.
Malibu was. I think the old Malibus were roomier.
Yeah, maybe a convert.
That's
Malibu, yeah.
that's what Vincent Vega drives.
Yeah.
So is he a good
Was it?
driver?
Yeah.
That was a Malibu?
Yeah, remember he talks about it. He's like,
I
took the
forgot.
Malibu out of storage. Some fucker keyed it.
A
Been
Malibu,
worth
yeah.
catching. It worth him doing it.
I
Just
never-
to catch that guy doing it.
I would not have associated what a Malibu is now with that car. Not in a million years.
I mean, obviously it's not the same design, but I think, it's tied to the same, What if he showed up, Vincent Vega had his Mini Cooper in storage?
So anyway.
He'd fit okay in one.
Yeah. It's like he still has my Prodigy CD in it.
We're still here, babies.
We're still here so far.
The bombs haven't started falling.
It's beautiful weather.
Here.
At time of recording.
At this time, what time is it?
So you could hear
1:36 p.m.
You could be hearing ghosts right now.
You guys watch Jeopardy?
Well, if they fall, you're not going to be hearing this anyway.
Yeah.
They had to. Jeopardy has scrambled to apologize for referencing that Ukraine. Like, we were watching this
We
when
watched
it happened.
an episode this week, and one of the
On
questions
live TV?
Yeah, we were watching it live, and one of the questions was about this disputed territory, blah blah blah. It's Russia, and the answer was Ukraine, and they had to put this was filmed on January 11th.
We're sorry. We didn't mean to say Ukraine. We forgot to pretend like we're not allowed to say the words Ukraine and Russia publicly right now because they are at war. We're all scared to death. But we should not be saying. No one is supposed to be saying Ukraine, and so we are not going to say it. Sorry.
I think it was the disputed part because I feel like that would have been okay to say in January. There is a dispute over this.
Amy making sense
the
of
fact
things.
that
I would say there's
Russia
still quite a
just
dispute
rolled
happening.
the fuck in.
Some more
the word dispute,
legal mumbo jumbo.
Well, no, I think the word dispute minimizes.
Sounded not enough. Yeah.
And
dat poot
doesn't dispute dat poot.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I do.
That's what I think was happening.
I understand.
I'm coming around a little FYI on Ken Jennings. I guess he's okay.
Is he the permanent host now?
I think him
might end up that way.
And Blossom,
him and Blossom.
I really like Ken Jennings.
She has a name.
Why isn't
tag team? Mayim Bialik.
Yeah. Joey Lawrence, man, should get in that rotation.
I mean, hey.
Take some of the weight off of their shoulders.
Is he still saying that at 60 years old?
Yeah, every time. Is he 60?
All right.
He's only a couple years older than us.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Joey Lawrence was on he was on Give Me a Break as a 7-year-old
so
when I
cute.
was 5, 6. Might be the exact same age, actually.
He was born in 76.
So he's a year
So
older
60.
than me.
Yeah. 60.
I was right. I'm also bad at math.
Yeah, you are.
You know what's funny? Like you say, we're still here because the bombs haven't dropped. I remember our crazy social. What was the high school equivalent of social studies?
Social studies.
Civics?
Social
Civics.
studies.
Yeah.
Our civics teacher told us that if we went to war with somebody, that since Rumpke Dump would be a target for bombing, because he said there's so much methane gas in Rumpke Dump that if they dropped a bomb on it, it would be the equivalent to an atomic bomb.
Well, if they dropped an atomic bomb, that part is
Yeah.
true.
So
This sounds very stupid.
We had some real weird ass teachers.
It's our crazy civics teacher that said, if you don't like a country, get out.
But now,
You know who I'm talking about.
I do.
before,
He would lick the chalk off his fingers.
Yeah, he was gross and he was crazy.
what were his
I want to know where he was
initials?
on January 6th.
What were his initials?
What was his full-on name? Who cares?
We pull a yearbook out later.
I don't remember.
You don't want to say his name?
I can't remember exactly, and I
can't
don't want to
remember
say the
his
wrong
name,
thing.
but I remember his crazy eyes.
What did he look like?
He had crazy eyes. He had a beard and crazy eyes.
A beard and crazy eyes?
Well, I don't know how much chalk he ate over 30 years of teaching or not. He could be
Not Mr.
legitimate.
Sampson. The guy that taught sociology?
That might be.
He had a beard and glasses and crazy eyes. He kind of looked like a big wolf man.
That might be who.
All right, we'll look it up
I'm
later.
not going to trust my memory on this. I don't want to even speculate.
Freddie also ate a lot of chalk, so you know.
Anyway, but
Yeah, I don't want to slander some random teacher.
well, before you slander him, I will say, and this is true, there is a lot. There was a point when we were a little younger, because my friend Holly lived back near they had to evacuate the neighborhood back there. Do you remember that? Because there was methane. There
By
were pipes.
the landfill? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so they had to leave because they were afraid there might be an explosion, and it would have potentially taken out a large part of Northbrook back by
maybe
Redskin
he wasn't
and
so
Capstan.
crazy.
Well, methane would be
Methane's
a
very
huge
dangerous.
explosion, but also
It
like
wouldn't be a target for Russia.
That's the part of it that's crazy.
It's stuck with me ever since he told me that we're going to be a target for terrorists.
And it wouldn't probably
but
be an
Fernald
atomic. Yeah.
is not that much further. I mean, it is kind of further up.
GE would be.
Well, here's the thing.
Suspect.
Look, I'm not saying that we wouldn't have targets, but like I feel like there would be so many other targets before
Yeah.
they got to Cincinnati's
Yes.
GE
Yeah.
location. You know
and
what I
they're
mean?
just going
Or our
to keep
former
putting
uranium processing plant.
mom and pop businesses out on the street as targets spread throughout the country. All those little fucking red bullseyes all over your map.
Yep.
I love Target though.
I do
God, I
too.
love Target.
I like Meyer better.
No, Meyer is a better
have-
overall.
I think they have better
No,
quality
they
stuff.
have better.
Their meat's good.
They have a better produce section, but Kroger I'd like overall.
Well,
Meyer
I don't even mean
has-
groceries. I mean clothes.
I just
and
had a
stuff.
moment of clarity.
Electronics.
I like Meyer overall. Target is more of a
You don't go to Meyer for Target for groceries.
yeah. 'Cause
No.
Meyer has groceries. Listener, do you understand the distinction here and how important it is?
Well, but I
only
really am
people-
only talking about the non-food items.
Okay.
I like Meyer's electronics, hardware, and
Yeah.
clothing
Yeah,
better. I buy clothes at Meyer. I do not buy many clothes at Target.
he do not.
I do not.
You donut?
I'm sorry.
The only people who buy their groceries at a Target are like romance novelists.
I've gotten ice cream at a Target.
Yeah?
I've gotten chocolate milk. I've gotten like items. I've gotten like a
He
snack.
has gotten items.
I feel
I've never done a grocery shop at Target. That
Yeah.
sounds like madness,
people
but I
who
have.
buy,
It's all lean cuisines and bananas.
groceries at Target are single people. I think.
It's too
Yeah, I agree.
expensive. They don't
Yeah.
have a great selection.
They have the worst selection.
Yeah.
They don't even have the ice creams
They
that I
actually
want.
have good ice cream at Target though.
Wait. You guys just said two things that are diametrically
Well, no,
opposed.
I'm not saying they don't have good ice
we
cream.
buy separate. We buy different ice cream.
Yeah.
Should
They
I
buy
start
different
playing
items.
tense music here?
Yes.
I just mean like they don't have like the last couple times I went to get keto ice cream there, and they're supposed to have all the flavors.
Yeah.
All the flavors. They had none. They had none of the flavors.
Well, you know, supply chain and so forth.
Oh, Meyer has the flavors.
Well,
Myers got the flavor.
Kroger's got the flavors. Kroger's got Halo Top and Rebel out
And
the ass.
Arby's
Meyer
got
is a Russian
the
oligarch.
meats. Okay.
Well, they keep.
Meyer will always get the stuff.
Well, I'm a
because
little annoyed.
they're murderers.
I am
don't
a little
know.
annoyed. I couldn't get my chocolate peanut butter
Oh,
last
no.
time at Myers, so
Oh,
they're a
we're
little
officially middle aged,
and-
we're arguing about grocery stores.
I didn't get my ice cream.
Well,
in the-
I feel like I've been talking about grocery stores since my 20s.
yeah,
But no, you
Oh,
were,
that's not a good
you were
barometer.
upset about the people there. Now you're upset about the product.
Well, I was also upset about the product. There was that time I couldn't find bouillon cubes, and I almost fucking.
Can you even?
I almost
Yeah,
blasted
Bouillon
into
Gate, remember that?
space.
Hey, Kelley, why don't you go to the border of Ukraine and Poland right now and tell that story?
I'll tell that story.
just kidding. I'm
I won't make
joking.
it. I'll
You're
be
allowed
dead
to be
before I get
upset.
to anyone to tell them.
Yeah. Do you know that so like Ukraine was like, hey, we're forming an international like army troop. Come and join anybody.
Yeah, you're Foreign Legion.
So anybody like there are thousands of Americans who have applied to like go and do this, and that's like as an
You
American
fight for a foreign
It's a foreign
government.
fight
legion,
for
yeah.
a foreign government, you can do that as
Yeah,
long
it's
as
like pay. I
as
think.
long as you're not like
Technically, there's mercenaries
Fighting,
too.
yeah.
I don't know if they would be considered a mercenary or if this is like through an official.
I
an
think that's
official.
official. Mercenaries are strictly underground for hire, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, the government can hire mercenaries, but I don't think they're conscripted.
I'm sorry. The topics that we've covered in the first 23 minutes of this show have been like,
Titties.
holy shit!
But I
man.
think a
Titties,
Foreign
grocery
Legion,
stores, and war.
you can legally join. Now, I don't know the legality on the American side. If they're like, you're not allowed to join a Foreign Legion, but then Foreign Legions are like, please join our Foreign Legion.
yeah. It's just it's
For
fascinating.
for just 10 cents a day, you can join
gonna
our Foreign Legion.
I'm gonna go down a wormhole on this one later today and really understand how that all works.
Now, you go down that wormhole. You
Okay.
please find out about YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll find out about YouTube. We'll regroup. Amy, don't sign up for killing people, please.
Try not to join a
I'm
Foreign
not
Legion
going
by
to.
accident.
If I was younger,
I love
knows?
the era of like the World War II adventure movie for this reason, because it's like Star Wars or something where there's all these people with independent, like they have interests, but then the nations have interests.
This
Also-
is very like Federation.
Yeah.
In Star Trek, it's a very fascinating time and scary as balls, and
Yeah.
we're all just
Elsa
hold
agreed.
each other tight.
Amy
Yeah.
and I, my darling wife, we watched To Have and Have Not. You seen that?
And that is.
It's that Bogey and Bacall movie.
It's how they met.
Oh
okay.
no,
It's very much like Casablanca.
Put your
I too have not.
lips together and blow.
It is so you can just see the beginnings of those adventure movies, and kind of Star Trek, and that idea of having it's that kind of world where, except of course, this is World War II, and
This is after the Vichy,
yeah,
like the French. Collaborative government with the Nazis
yeah, and it's about a guy who pilots a ship
in Martinique.
who is a mercenary character, Humphrey Bogart. It's Han Solo.
Yes.
All the prototypes for those characters that are in all of George Lucas's writing and a lot of Steven Spielberg's writing. Like,
How
they're
much
in
of-
these movies?
Is this anything like the African Queen? Because I do love the
Yes.
African Queen.
Yeah, Amy has to see that one still, but it's very much it's what you expect from like Casablanca, African Queen. It's up there with those. It's so good, really, really good. And Peter Lorre was that's Casablanca. Who was the
Hoagie Carmichael.
Well, Hoagie Carmichael's in it, and he plays a bunch of songs. He's the piano man. He's your Sam in this.
Right.
Who was the there was the one kind of
Eddie, the drunk
Eddie,
guy.
thank you. Yes, his co-pilot is this old drunk who he kind of just takes care of, and it's real sweet. And oh man, the movie's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I've
Because
been
of all these
craving those
things
stories.
that are happening, so we watched To Have and Have Not, and then Freddie made me watch Rocky 4. So like we really gotta
Is that
hate
Dolph?
war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. He's
he dies,
What was
sweating
three?
down.
What was 3?
Oh, that's Clubber Lang, baby. We did
Yeah.
that for the show.
Mr.
We
T.
did.
Oh, was it? Oh, I don't know my Rockies.
Yeah.
We own them all. So they're in your library, Andy.
I am the tiger getting ready
And is
Rocky 4 is all montage.
Is 5
Yeah.
broke Rocky?
5 is depressing.
Yeah,
Rocky.
old sad Rocky.
I hate that movie.
Like Rocky can't talk Rocky.
Yeah.
I mean, he already couldn't, but really can't.
Yeah.
It's a shame
So
what
did you
happened
like Rocky
to
4? Because I remember liking it a
Apollo
lot.
Creed. Yeah, it's fun. It's 80% montage,
Yeah.
which I like. I like montages.
He died in the ring.
He did.
He did.
Which,
Can you believe that?
I was like, this is stupid. You shouldn't have done this. And then I kind of realized I don't think he had a choice.
Yeah.
It was always going to be this way
Yeah.
because he couldn't let the ring go.
Did you watch
Yeah.
it because we're like it's another Cold War thing kind of going on?
Yeah. We were just talking about how evil Putin is and his fucking
Ooh, we should watch
Government.
Have you seen Red Dawn?
yes.
That's a fun one. Did you see the remake? Was pretty good.
Was it?
Did not see the remake.
Yeah, surprisingly good.
All right.
Surprisingly.
Let's move this shit along, motherfuckers.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for straight to video Russian roulette.
You know, I was thinking maybe we could all go out sometime.
Where would we go?
Anywhere.
There's no one out at this time.
Not here.
Not anywhere.
No, that's not true.
Listen, that's not happening. Do you have any idea what we do to get that blood?
I thought you said this was a shelter. It is. Looks like a house. I don't think that I can keep doing this.
He's our brother.
He's sick. We shouldn't be doing the things that we're doing.
We can't do it without you. It has to be the three of us, together.
Would you get me some blood?
You really should try smiling.
Do you ever think about going somewhere else?
Tomorrow you go out again.
you like to play a game?
Wait!
I don't want to be sick.
Oh.
You know, I joked about the title, but this movie looks really good.
For some,
What
yeah,
is the
I can
actual
imagine people like, what's it called again? Something about heart beating.
My heart can't beat unless you tell it to.
Points off already for that title. I'm sorry.
It is a little.
Yeah,
much.
it's a mouthful. They love these titles, these indie. They love these.
I think
It is kind of a signal, though, to say this is not.
I mean, it is it's an evocative title, but a little pretentious too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just call it, something simple. I don't know, blood.
Well, look,
Just call it blood.
This is not these movies' faults. I'm not trying to tell anyone what they should or shouldn't title their movie, and I get
Right.
it. And every so often those titles work. But and maybe as more of these happen and I like them, it'll get less for me. But I do have a knee-jerk reaction when I hear a title like this, or like blue is the warmest color of my tears and my body
Right.
rejects your
Multiverse
philosophy.
of madness.
Just these like
I know.
I have an immediate no thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
and they're good, but they could be good.
Yeah, because you have to live up to when you title your movie something like that, you're making an artistic statement,
Yeah.
and you better deliver the goods.
Because I have liked movies like that.
Yeah.
But when I first hear it, it's just a gut thing. I'm like,
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that, man.
Okay, so this movie is about this brother and sister, this triplets, not this thing of three siblings. It's three siblings.
Oh my God! They were not born at the same time.
I just had like a stroke.
Okay. Yeah, D. Yeah,
There's three siblings,
toast?
and the youngest one is a vampire,
Hmm.
but not in the vampire. He's just this,
he's a vampire.
Yeah, it's just this frail dude that drinks blood and can't go out in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So for all we know, he might not be a vampire. He just could
Has some sort of disease.
Yeah, but he does have that thing where you know how some people can't go out in the sun; they burn.
Yeah,
But this is like immediate.
like Amy.
Or our friend Esther, who has an allergy to too much sun.
Yeah.
He says his skin starts smoking.
But this is told from the perspective of the people who have to get the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Is the brother and sister of the vampire dude.
It's like that movie, The Skeleton Twins, with Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader.
But they weren't vampires, right?
No, but it's
Tonally, but
yeah.
without.
Yeah, I meant like tonally. Yeah,
but without any sense of whimsy or joy.
Yeah.
This was a heavy movie.
Just a
Oh
drag.
my God.
Yeah, it looked that way, but I'd heard good things.
No,
so I
it's
didn't know.
it's well made.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of the Dark and Wicked.
Ah, yes, the Dark and the
Oh
Wicked.
yeah, love that movie.
It's very similar storylines of a caretaker and the burdens they have to go through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it scary?
No, it's not scary at all. It's very grounded. That's the problem maybe I had with this movie because
Yeah.
it's so because he's not like a traditional vampire like has grow fangs or something. He's just basically a human that drinks blood.
So that's what I want to ask about. Is there anything about this that reads horror movie other than the fact that their lives are wrapped around trying to keep this member of their family alive through difficult means?
Yeah, that's it. It's more told from their perspective of how they have to get out and get blood for him.
So there's no threat from him to other people.
Yeah, and like the side effects that they go through of isolation and stuff like that.
That does work for that title.
It's a metaphor for
I'm only alive
being a
for you.
Yeah.
Taker for someone.
Oh, and I get it. Like, I think there's a lot of value, even with using a vampire. Like, I get this. I'm just not sure
not
it
for
would
me.
do it for me. But I completely
It would
like
just
the
make
idea.
me more depressed.
I like the idea of exploring it.
If you've
through
ever
the-
cared for somebody who's ill, which you think,
We've all done.
it's, I don't want to watch that
Yeah, just think like
without something to break it
kind of
up.
like Let the Right One In. It was told from the perspective of the
guy that took care of it.
The ghoul.
like that.
Yeah.
Or like if it's kind of like What We Do in the Shadows without the humor.
Yeah.
Kind of from Guillermo's perspective. It was all a movie about him.
Yeah.
But this is just, there's so little horror in this. It's more about the...
And you were referring to, just to be clear, Let the Right One In is what you were making the comparison to What We Do in the Shadows.
No, both.
Or this movie too.
I was comparing them both.
Okay. Gotcha.
This, yeah. It's just so grounded, and everybody just talks and whispers, and it just goes through the mundane things of their life, of them cleaning up after their victims. Them,
But the performances are good, right?
They're
like,
fine.
Because to me, like that can be the backdrop if the actors are strong enough.
But they didn't have much to do.
Yeah.
Because it's a very one-note movie.
Yeah.
Everybody talks and whispers.
Would it have been a better metaphor to have it like the Time to Make the Donuts guy from the old Dunkin' Donuts
Time to get the
commercial?
blood.
And like he'd wake up in the middle of the night because he had to feed that wife that was always complaining about him getting out of bed in the middle of the night. And he'd come back with like blood-filled jelly donuts.
I think he also ate the whole thing.
That's the Haagen-Dazs guy.
No, the pizza guy. I can't believe I ate the whole thing. Isn't that pizza?
That's Haagen-Dazs.
Is that Haagen-Dazs?
Yeah, Duncan is the guy who had Time to Make the Donuts.
I know Time to Make the Donuts.
He was worked to death. The other guy died from eating too much ice cream.
I thought that was the same guy, though.
And then Mikey, pop rocks and cocaine.
Well, because Dunkin' Donuts also, he had heartburn.
Yeah. Oh, same guy.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's like a sequel to the Dunkin' commercial.
I'm just talking about that actor. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Where it's where he's like, oh, man, I made the donuts, but boy, did I eat a lot of the donuts.
I don't remember
too.
this Haagen-Dazs commercial.
Alka-Seltzer. I can't
Plop,
believe
fizz,
I
fizz?
ate the whole thing.
So
It's an Alka-Seltzer commercial.
Then what's Freddie?
What is the Haagen-Dazs one? Isn't it also
know.
I can't believe I ate the whole thing?
We didn't have Haagen-Dazs in the 80s, did we?
Yeah.
No, it was like a 90s thing, wasn't it?
It did exist, but I don't.
Bullshit on that, Andy.
I don't know that we. I don't know if we saw. I didn't eat that kind of ice cream
Me
until I
neither.
was an adult. So
It was grown-up ice cream.
No, the only ice cream commercial I remember from the 80s is Viennetta.
Yeah.
And Klondike.
And Carvel.
I don't remember Carvel.
I don't remember Carvel commercials.
May-
Here.
maybe-
that was in the East Coast.
Maybe that's in my the imagination realm of where all of the 70s and 80s shit has glommed together.
Right. And you're like, oh, we had that, but
Yeah.
but you just remembered from seeing it elsewhere.
I hear it in other places and then forget that it wasn't here.
yeah.
We had no Cookie Puss. We did get just a basic Carvel, which was shit.
You could buy it at the store, but
There's
they didn't
nothing.
have Carvel stores here.
Yeah, we didn't have the
No, we
Carvel
had
store.
our local ice cream place was Friendly's.
You still can get Carvel cakes here.
Yeah, you can get them back at Kroger's.
Yeah.
But Friendly's, that was our jam.
Yeah.
The point is-
Fribble, baby.
Yeah.
that this could have been lighter.
Well, so let me ask you: were they trying to scare you? Like,
No,
do you feel like they
it was-
really were doing exactly what they were
It
doing?
was more of a drama than a horror.
So I do like. Again, I like using this as a backdrop. It feels kind of like George Romero's Martin.
No, but like,
I
at
love
least Dark and Wicked had horror elements to it. This is just a straight up drama.
Right,
Yeah,
and that's
with blood.
What I was going to say was, and I have to revisit Martin. I actually didn't care for it when I first saw it, but that was when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
The one thing I do think it's funny sometimes when people use a horror trope but they don't want to scare you. Like I get it, but like they're like, we want to show the reality of this, which isn't scary for this reason. It's scary for this reason, and I get it. But like I said, I feel like if you're gonna use a vampire, for
him.
to enjoy it, and this is not for me. They didn't make this movie for me, so it's okay. It's not a criticism.
I mean, they do kill people in the movie, so I guess that can be considered somewhat horror. But
I mean, it is horror. Once
Yeah.
you got a character,
Is
he's a
Saving
vampire.
Private
you're
Ryan
there.
horror?
But none of them are vampires that we know of.
It's more of like the horror of murder.
Barry Pepper
Yeah.
probably. was.
I guess it
Yeah.
depends on how you watched it.
But they
Andy.
didn't approach the vampire dude as like a vampire. It was just more of him being a burden than the actual.
Count Dracula.
Oh snap! Zawo, 100 points.
Thank you.
But I thought this was going to be a B-24 type movie.
Yeah.
But even those type of movies, they have some sort of
Yeah,
whimsy or lightness to it. But this was just
Yeah.
like a big weight.
Do you know what's funny? We just watched Phoebe Robinson's stand-up special. It's on Netflix. Do you know who is like the producer? At the very end of it, you let the credits roll. It's A24.
Yeah,
they do
stand-up
great
special.
comedy stuff.
I didn't know that.
Oh, they have their hands in everything. Was it a good special?
It was good. I've read her book.
I don't know who she is.
She's just a very funny stand-up.
Oh, I'm excited because I'm always looking for new ones.
Mm-hmm.
A lady comic?
Phoebe Robinson.
A comedian.
It's my favorite female comic.
Two Dope Queens. It was a podcast, and then I think it aired somewhere for a little while too. You guys don't care. So Andy, recommend or not?
I wouldn't. It's just not for me.
But if any of this sounds like it might be for you, listener,
Yeah.
It does sound like a drag.
It is, because even, like I said, there's very little dialogue. It's just them going throughout their day of doing laundry, going to their, she's a waitress, and just seeing her work. And
it feels like a very personal movie, like where it's like it's for them and not us. Because I guess the thing where I'm like, well, if I'm seeking out a vampire movie, like I'm thinking as like how a filmmaker would be like, well, the audience is seeking out a vampire movie, so we have to do something. But they just made it for themselves, which is commendable.
Right. I see what you're saying. Like, there's someone out there that probably needs to see this movie.
Yeah. But it's not a vampire movie.
But it's not us. It's not like if you're looking for a horror film, but if you're looking for some catharsis, maybe.
Yeah. It was just too grounded for me. Because even the way they approached the filming, it was very just static shots and just people coming in and out of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Like the camera barely moved at all. So it was kind of like we're observing more than being participating in it. So it was it's very heavy.
Okay.
Just put it that way.
I think I get it.
Well, that's just
sounds
lovely.
like
Thank you.
Real bummer. Okay.
All right. Well,
we got the wheel. Anybody want to click the button? But you have to come over and sit in my lap, essentially. No?
So we're doing this different. Freddie decided he wanted to change up
just to make it faster.
How we were selecting.
It'll make sense.
All
I'm spinning
right.
a prize wheel with our names on it.
Up for execution.
Do we want to say what the movie is before I do this or after?
2 seconds. It's Kelley, Freddie, and me are in the pool. We're up, and I can say the movie if you'd like.
Let's get in the pool.
I think it's interesting to see what the stakes are before we spin this thing.
It's called Hellbender, and it is
I know Hellbender.
Shudder.
That's been out for a while, right?
It says it came out in 2021. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, then I'm thinking of something else.
Nobody cared. They were like, it's 2021.
Yeah.
You're coming out now?
There will be hell to pay when a lonely teen discovers her family's ties to witchcraft.
Oh, I love witchcraft movies.
Ties.
Oh, shit. All right, so let's see. We're going to spin the wheel of death.
Who is this?
It'll land on us.
Oh, it lands on us. I don't remember
me.
how this works.
Freddie!
Good job, man. You won.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a rowdy crowd.
Thank you. Yep. So it's me.
Yeah.
It's me again.
Okay.
It's me.
You ready?
Yeah, boy.
Every year, the finalists for the Miss Cheerleader USA contest travel to this secluded camp.
Well, there is no going back.
For some, it'll be the crowning achievement of their lives.
I'm gonna win that queen contest.
Nerves are on edge.
There's something eating at everybody, right?
Ever since we've been here, it's never a good night.
Jealousies are exposed, and hatreds explode. This year, something evil has come over the contestants,
She shows I'm gonna kill her.
the instructors,
You're a mascot, not a human.
the judges, and the hired help.
I hope you die.
Something is about to make them all victims of bloody pom-poms.
Let's start with Alyssa. She's so fine. But look at her long or you'll go blind. Next is Pam, and we'll tell you this. She ain't no sham. She comes out with a bam. Next is Brawny. She acts kinda funny. Steal your heart, but not your money. Can't forget Teresa. She's got what it takes. Putting her on this team was no mistake. Last is Gloria. This is her story. She's our gator. You'll be seeing her later.
Bloody pom-poms.
We gotta walk out of here.
It's at least 40 miles.
Finally, something to die for.
Finally, something to die for. And that's the alternate title. Bloody Pom Poms, also known as Cheerleader Camp.
I love the voiceover. Yeah, that was like
low energy.
That was so low energy,
and the emphasis was on the wrong syllable sometimes.
Yeah, and I love
something evil has come over.
I love Leif Garrett rapping.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I love that the beat wasn't on, like it wasn't like in any kind of time.
Yeah, I mean this rap.
And I genuinely love it.
It was Big Tasty for sure.
It made me happy.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelley was saying this movie knew what it was doing.
I think it does. And none of you are going to point me in any other direction than that.
But listening to that trailer, I've never seen the trailer before, and listening to it, it seems like maybe they knew what they're doing, but I don't think they knew what they were doing.
I think they do that dial. Like, I think, listen, I'm gonna get this out of the way at the top. I absolutely think it was conceived as a throwaway 80s slasher movie. But I also think that the writers were smarter than I think a lot of it was deliberate. It was a deliberate riff on the slashers were huge.
Yes.
Other movies were making. I think of this almost as an early Scream.
But I feel
this
like
is
it was
comedy. This is considered a comedy.
So I think so much of it was deliberate, and it was so fun to, because I'm not a big so bad it's good person.
I feel like it's,
I thought you were going to hate
called
it.
Cheerleader Camp for a reason, because it's camp.
Now here are 3 quotes
Or
from
Bloody
the movie.
Pom Poms, which was the original title.
The 3 quote you were talking about the dialogue. Just an example. Pop. This is the character played by Buck Flower.
I hope you die.
I hope you. He says, that judge in the orange shirt make your pee-pee harder than a 10-pound bag of nickel jawbreakers. You know what I mean?
I almost fell off the fucking couch when I heard him say, make your pee-pee hard.
Yeah.
Like,
I still don't know what that means.
And then there's Allison's line, do it harder. Do it harder.
Is that when she was cheering them on?
Yeah.
I thought it was in her dream.
It was the dream, yeah.
Yeah. Dream sequences were great too, by the way.
Yeah, they were fun.
I thought they were good.
And then
Yeah.
Bonnie Reed, who was the leader of the squad, right? The
blonde one.
The blonde, yeah. She said, I think we'd all be better off if she'd think more about the team and less about getting honey on her muffin.
Honey on her muffin, another great line.
Yeah.
This movie was full of great lines.
But this was a weird mix of a slasher.
It was.
And a
adult film.
A camp,
it was
a camp comedy.
It was
a teen sex comedy.
A romp.
When it started, I was like, this is just wet hot American summer.
It was like Revenge of the Nerds and those type of movies where it was more just about TNA.
Yeah, it was a camp. It was a teen sex camp comedy. Yeah, mixed with a teen sex camp slasher.
It had the big fat joke guy who is ironically one of the clowns in Batman Returns.
Yeah,
he was one of the big clowns that was with the clown people.
But for a slasher, there was
the Triangle Gang.
Is that what they were called? The Triangle Gang. Thank you.
But for a slasher, there was very little slashing.
Red Triangle Gang, maybe.
There wasn't a lot of murder.
It didn't happen until at least an hour into the movie.
Oh yeah, it was very light on the slashing. Although sometimes it was super gross, and you're like, oh shit, they did a good kill there.
I made the mistake of doing a double feature of this movie, and then I immediately watched Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge after, and they have somewhat merged to me. When you said there wasn't a lot of killing, I'm like, but there was that scene, and I'm like, no, that was the other movie. So, but they pair well. If you like this, you'll like that, and vice versa.
I love the mascots.
Yes.
What an odd choice of mascots. There was a turkey.
Oh, it was hilarious. The chicken was so great.
I think they were costumes from some kid's play.
And there was a mouse.
Yeah, and the gator.
Yeah.
So
I understand a gator as a mascot because that's kind of,
like the Florida Gators.
It's like powerful and scary, but a mouse?
A chicken?
The turkey.
Essential thing you need to know about this movie is these are like college age kids, I guess, that go to college together and are cheerleaders for college.
When you say kids, you're stretching it.
Youngins. Yeah.
These are college age, well into adulthood adults.
Everybody looked older.
Some of them are, Leif Garrett probably was in his late 20s, if not mid 30s at that time.
I cannot remember his music for the life of me.
88? And he was like...
He was in the popular in the 70s.
Yeah, he was young, though.
He had to be in his, like 30s.
I'll find out for you.
He was probably 17 and 79.
He was born in 61, so he was 27. Yeah. Or he would have been 26 when they filmed it, I guess.
So they've all congregated at cheerleader camp.
Mm-hmm.
Camp Hurrah.
Camp Hurrah.
and they're going to workshop together, trust fall, and then have a recital.
It was a camp in the just in name only
because
they're going to crown a queen.
Yeah, they're going to crown a queen.
A queen of cheerleading.
It's very Dirty Dancing in this respect, where it's this weird camp for
what kind of camp
for people you don't understand.
Yeah, but what kind of camp has 3 employees?
Yeah, there
Camp
was
Raw.
there was
Yeah,
Pop,
Camp Raw does.
Bugflower, pornography man as well.
And it seemed like this this queen of camp was some big honor.
Yeah.
It was just so.
I think it was a play on.
Was just so low rent.
I think it's a play on, and it's maybe not super nice. There's maybe a little misogyny in the idea that I think it was, and I'm being generous when I say a little, but I think that it was the idea that these girls were they would do whatever for the teeny tiniest bit of recognition. Like I think it was the joke was that these dummies. There's not even I think that was why they put so little effort into making anything. Like it's just like
Prom Night 2.
This is just like nothing. They're here for the stupidest of reasons because they're the stupidest of people.
Yeah, and not just the women, but the
men. Yeah, no, everybody.
The men were like that too, especially the big dude who like at one point I think jumped completely buck ass naked into the lake.
Water,
and then
they didn't fat shame him though so much. He was getting laid.
He was doing his thing.
Yeah.
Although he did look, and you and I think had this similar thought that he looked like a child's drawing of one of Bill Murray's brothers.
We did. We texted about this because Freddie said it to me, and it was amazing because now I didn't think about the cartoon drawing, but I did. I was like, and I genuinely had this thought. I was like, is this one of the lesser Murray brothers?
Yeah.
Because you got Brian Doyle is I think every bit as good as Bill. Bill and Brian Doyle. Together. Then you've got moving violations, Murray.
Yeah, I always forget his name.
I just call him moving violations, Murray.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the only thing he ever did of note.
And this guy's name is Smudge Murray.
And it's barely of note. And this guy is like Glompo Murray. Because he had a Bill Murray face. Yeah. And he was very meatballsy kind of character.
But it was like a bad police artist rendering of a Bill Murray face.
Completely. It was like
all the details were in the middle and then there was way too much around it.
It was like if you tried to make it was like if part of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man landed on Peter Venkman and like kind of like ballooned out around him, and all you could see was his face and like I'm sorry, that's mean. He's fat. That's all.
You're like, at least did fat shame him than you just did.
Well,
we're not. It's not really.
That was the point of the
shaming him. It's not.
Yeah, there was more to it than just his appearance.
He was the fat. He was clown,
and there was something very like intensely like
fat,
weirdly horny.
Yeah, like
intensely
fat. They were all weirdly horny.
Yeah.
Well, that's
what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and but he like look when you say he's fat, look. I'm not trying to fat shame him.
I'm just busting your balls. I don't care.
I'm fat, and I'm giving him permission.
But he is the character. That was the character. He's the fat guy.
Yeah.
And they got
in the 80s.
They got a perfect fat guy.
Question. You think why did he pack that lady costume?
So he could
was that the only reason?
But then it didn't matter,
right?
Because they knew it was him anyway.
Yeah,
it was just like a goof.
There's a whole porno movie with the same setup, Andy, from the same time.
Because there's these ladies, they're laying by the beach, rocks.
Mm-hmm.
They're rocking
by the swimming hole.
Yeah,
whatever that dirty water is.
The Barrens.
And he dresses up like a old lady to sneak up on the sunbathing girls.
Yeah, but barely puts any effort into the gambit.
Yeah,
but
he wears why was he wearing all the underwear too?
I think these felt like those two things felt like they were part of a larger like plot thing that got cut, and like that stayed in.
His thing was costumes and infiltrating things.
or like they wrote it in and they were gonna like have it be harder for him to get laid.
No to anything like no. The director was like, but they were like, we're gonna have you basically eat everything in sight, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I have too much dignity. And they're like, okay. We'll compromise. How do you feel about your ass getting stuck in a van window?
That guy had a big ass.
He did.
Yep.
A lot of real estate.
It looked like a treasure map.
I wanted to smack it.
It filled up a whole
an old book.
Van window.
Yeah.
This is a big ass. And, I'm a man with a small ass.
You could pan in, like do a real tight like shot of that ass.
They did kind of.
Yeah, if you cropped
You were
out,
really looking at it.
Yeah, if you cropped out the van from that, you could look like an illuminated manuscript from like an Abbott.
I felt like I could climb into it.
It looked very comfy.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to just kind of put my hand in there and feel the pillows.
Because
those aren't pillows.
It looks very soft.
It's like it looks like memory foam.
I wanted to have that moment. I wanted to have a Planes Trains moment.
So Leif Garrett is
he's so gross in this movie. And just the way he looks. I'm sorry.
He was upsettingly horny.
We
in this
continually were like, oh, he's so gross. Why does he look like that?
The shortest shorts.
That scene of him adjusting himself in those little panties.
Yeah.
When he was in the white shorts, he looked like Trump playing tennis for a second. He looked like Trump playing Dennis the Menace. In that movie, Trump plays Dennis the Menace, and it was exactly the same scene.
So his girlfriend is Allison, like our main character who keeps having the dreams.
From Breakin' 2.
Yeah, the poor man's Nomi Malone is what I kept thinking she reminded me of.
But he is like
great dancer.
Literally hitting on bitches in front of her.
There was a poor man's Daphne Zuniga there too.
Non-stop, yes.
Yeah,
Are you
that's
talking
true. The mascot.
Yeah.
Who I thought was very sexy. The mascot was my sexy choice.
She is a softcore pornography lady.
No shit.
Is it her or am I thinking of somebody else?
Well, there is a hardcore porn.
Well, yes,
so
we have a hardcore.
Terry Weigel, who's in this.
She had a very, Alise pointed out she had a very Shannon Doherty look to her and vibe.
The blonde?
No, the mascot.
Oh, the mascot.
Corey, C-O-R-E-Y.
Corey was the one who's the dancer who she was in Breakin' in Grease 2.
Oh, so that is not
Breakin' 2.
So that's not the girlfriend.
The Allison, who was the other one, she was Jigsaw's wife in the Saw movies, the one who died.
Yeah, she's the poor man's Nomi Malone.
Yeah,
the character, not the actor.
And then you have Lori Griffin, who's Bonnie, the blonde cheerleader, who was the love interest in Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox, who was the kind of mean girl that was in the theater.
I thought she looked familiar.
Yeah.
So there is a hardcore porn actress in it. She didn't start doing hardcore until after this movie was filmed, but she had been a Playboy Playmate in the 80s. And then when she was the very first Playmate to make the leap from Playboy to porn.
Do you remember which one she was in the movie?
Pam. She showed her titties. She was the one who had the bandeau.
Oh, she's the one that tried to steal Leif Garrett.
Yes.
Oh, she was hot too.
She had the titty off.
Yeah, I called it that too. I was like, they're having a titty off.
They were having a titty off.
I voted her by a small margin.
There was an alpha cheerleader from a rival team.
She was in Predator too.
And our team of cheerleaders is also stunning, and she's like the alpha cheerleader takes off her top,
and she has great big tits.
I liked her.
Here's things
and
you
then
might
Pam
know.
takes her
I
top
liked them
off
too,
and they were kind of like almost shaking them at each other.
Yeah, it was definitely like
I've never felt
challenge.
I've never felt compelled to compare titties,
and they were nice because they were
the moment hasn't happened yet.
Nice 80s titties.
They were great.
So Terry Weigel,
pairs,
the one who went on, who was the Playmate, who was in this, who then went on to hardcore pornography, was also on 227.
Yeah,
Married with Children, and in Predator 2.
Dang.
There's something I miss about tan lines on titties.
You can still see them.
Yeah.
Tan lines on titties.
There's whole subreddits for tan lines.
I just feel it's a very 80s, 70s thing.
It is.
I mean, yeah.
It's alive and well, though, man.
People are still getting
tans.
It's alive and well. There are whole
Spray
places you can
tans.
go for just that.
Mm-hmm.
People love showing off tan lines.
So Leif Garrett is being a philandering bad guy.
He's as gross as he possibly can be, both just in action and appearance.
So what?
That was an insane
But
line,
the
if I'm
way like his girlfriend, everybody just reacted weird because it wasn't about being a true, honest character, like a study of a human and how they would behave in this. This was a screwball comedy.
Yeah,
So.
and I think they were screwing slasher movies, and I think, and they early on they try to red herring you with the girlfriend, Allison, because she's obviously has some kind of mental health issue. She's taking medicine and having crazy nightmares that are constantly waking people up. So I felt like they were trying to tell you early on that she was the killer.
But I'm like, nah. It's
Well,
the
I knew
mascot.
immediately it was the mascot, as I'm sure we all did, and as it was.
How fucking great was that moment where, well, first Buck Flower, I keep wanting to say Buck Howard.
Yeah.
Buck Flower saying, I hope you die.
Hope you die.
Okay, was he the handyman or the cook?
The handyman. Cook didn't say really almost anything.
No, he didn't. He just looked weird.
That was his whole point. They were like, he doesn't say nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So you suspect it's that, yeah, obviously the Scooby-Doo thing.
Yeah.
But
they give you multiple old coots. You don't just get one like a Scooby-Doo episode. You get a team of them.
They double up on
and
the
Miss
coot.
Tipton and the sheriff.
You mean Miss Tip Tits?
Oh,
As one of them
that,
says.
that was crazy. Their liaison,
their sex tape. It was awesome.
Yeah, I love. He filmed it through a periscope.
It's hilarious.
Can you do that?
In 80s nerd style movies, whenever you're committing a sort of sex crime, you have to do it through like old timey adventurer means.
Yeah, that makes
and
it
then all's
palatable.
forgiven.
Yeah. That makes it okay. The girls don't care either.
But this scene is maybe where I think Kelley is right, and they knew what they were doing.
It's so goofy.
The sex tape.
I don't feel a lot. I don't feel there was a lot of like real care when they knew that. I think this movie wasn't self-aware to the point that they knew they were making something that was garbage.
Yeah,
it wasn't just Scream,
yeah,
but
right.
it was trying to be funny.
But this scene was just so over the top that even from a crazy movie, it felt out of place a little bit.
Well, it felt like this movie feels like a porno movie.
Yeah.
Just without the actual shots of penetration.
It feels a lot like any of those 80s sex comedies.
Yeah.
Like Ski School. Yeah. I mean, it really...
Meatballs.
It kind of nails all of that.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
I loved it. She got her back and spread her legs, and he dove onto her.
Dove right onto her.
And apparently he was, that's all it took.
And it wasn't that
those
big
were
of a
the
deal.
uprights, remember?
Nobody had to adjust. He just went right in.
And they still had their underwear on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What's great is then...
they fucked through underwear.
Then Marshmallow Murray, he fucking plays the tape immediately for everyone. He doesn't think, let's hold on to this. He doesn't think, this is just for me. He's like, I'm going to put it on in front of them. Ha ha ha.
And they just let it play.
And they let it go. They're like, they don't like it.
Yeah.
But she's just there.
But she's just like, she makes that face like,
Kind of reminded me of that moment in Mallrats with
oh yeah.
yeah, where they play the
Trish
tape.
the Dish.
Yeah. So
But except he gets arrested.
yeah, in this, she just looks a little embarrassed by it, but she's also at first, you don't know like what she's thinking about the tape. Like, is she into it?
Yeah.
Because she makes this.
You're
face.
talking about this movie now.
Yeah, this movie, not Mallrats, but like it's a weird moment.
Yeah, it's because it's like she just kind of goes, "Oh, fine."
Yeah, exactly. And you're kind of like, well,
I was the same.
Is it supposed to be like to set her up as possibly being the killer? Like, just so everyone has to be slighted at some point.
They did it. They made everybody a suspect, no matter how clumsily or sloppily.
Yeah.
They did.
They really
do it.
did.
Yeah,
They tried.
I hope you die.
It was so funny. This was again. So you're right. It's not a great movie, but like I laugh. This movie I enjoy the way I enjoy Real Genius.
Yes.
Or any like. I genuinely laugh. I'm not laughing at them. I think it's funny, even though it's
It's of a time. Like it feels like there. It's a mix of real genuine laughter, but also like this kind of pleasant disgust.
Yeah, and commercialism a little bit.
Yeah.
Pleasant disgust.
It's hard to tell from 80s movies if it was deliberate or not.
I get you. It is hard to tell.
Eggs erroneous. The Ernest Goes to Camp is like one chromosome away from Cheerleader Camp.
Do you think was 88 sort of was that this whole era wrapping up?
I feel like
being a little late.
I feel like 88 was like it was. You know how like years later they start making movies out of like Angry Birds and shit because they're just catching on. I feel like 88 was like this moment of the 80s where they're like, oh, all of this stuff. Kids love these things. Put all of it in this. And yes, I think the whole year of 88 was that.
Yeah, there was have you read or seen the documentary? I think it's Falling to Pieces or Cut to Pieces. It's about slasher movies in the 80s. I can't remember the exact name, but they mark it as 86 in that movie as the year the slasher film died, and that anything made after 86 was just a cash grab essentially until Scream. And then but April Fool's Day was that movie, which I really like. And it seems to be like the beginning of the end. You know how like I guess like you could say that for I'm trying to think of another genre of movies that we kind of just abandoned. Possibly like Saw style movies would be a good example. You know, like,
are you mean specifically within horror or just in general?
Well, it could be in general too, but they like
we haven't abandoned Saw style movies.
In horror movies come and go a lot because
I
think we abandoned like the late 90s Scream type movies, like the teenage movies.
Yeah.
And that transitioned to like the Hostel and Saw type
torture
movies.
porn.
Yeah. So I'm kind of
it's
curious.
Very cyclical, and then we had the zombie craze for a while,
and then you've got your ghosts.
Yeah.
I think right now I think we're in the A24 the elevated horror.
Well, your James Wan ghost movies are kind of reaching 88 level where they're sort of like, I think this is done. And yes, now I think the A24 style horror movies are kind of trying to come in and be the thing.
Yeah. So this hadn't been cool for 2 years by the time they were making it, as far as mainstream viewers felt.
I think you can tell because, like I said, there's very little slashing in this slasher.
Yeah, that's true of Sleepaway Camp too. Really,
that guy got a axe to the groin.
But Sleepaway Camp, those were more doled out as opposed to like.
You felt like this was all loaded in one place in the movie.
Like there was
at the end,
all of them where they were at like the last maybe half hour of the movie.
They thought the first one was a suicide, and then the lady put it in like with the hamdingers in the freezer.
Let me tell you one of the ways that I realized this movie was smarter than I thought it was.
Yeah.
At first was when Allison finds the body in the freezer. I immediately was like, because I thought, oh, of course they just put him in the freezer. Like this isn't even going to be a thing. She's going to find it, and it's just going to be normal that they fucking. But she's like, she calls the sheriff. Like she realizes this isn't okay, and then the sheriff comes out. And he's like, you can't just do that. And there's like this moment where like they defied my expectation of ridiculousness, and I was like, oh, they actually addressed this.
I had that same feeling.
Point. I hadn't thought of it in that way, but you're right. Yeah. They like went over a practicality to assuage my like, huh?
They tried to help your suspension of disbelief a little bit here and there.
It's true.
Good on you, Cheerleader Camp. I think Bloody Pom Poms was a perfectly fine title.
I like that too. Yeah. It probably wouldn't play as well.
Yeah.
I remember this. This is one of the movies along with Slaughterhouse and the one that I don't like by Clive Barker with all them fake monsters in it. The Star Wars of horror movies. Yes, thank you, Nightbreed. This was one of the videos at Ameristop down by us, where it had the cover with the megaphone and like the skeleton, the skull with the long hair, and it's kicking up. But it's well, there was a trend where they would put skull faces on women.
In books and video.
It was just a skull face with long hair.
Yeah. Like a lot of Fear Street in that genre.
I love that look.
Like pulp horror novels.
That
art. A skull in a wig.
I have it now. I like it now as a nostalgia thing because at the time it seemed very dangerous.
Yeah.
But looking back, I feel like that was an artist who didn't understand. They had like their studio artists, and they're like, make it scary, and they're like, well, what's scary? They're not horror artists.
Skeletons, please.
Put a skull. That's scary, I guess.
Like a head with no skins on it. You know the type. You've seen them before in pirate movies.
I also feel like we've become spoiled on super specific documentaries because just now in my head I was like, I bet I should find a documentary on the artist, why they used the skull faces. And I'm like, and then I sat there like, I bet there isn't such a documentary. You can't just expect there to be a documentary about anything you want to know.
There is Paperbacks from Hell.
Well, I have Paperbacks from Hell. That's a book.
But it's talking about book, but it is
mostly about the covers.
It's talking about the covers and the art and the trends.
No, I know, but I've read that.
Yeah,
it didn't give me the answer I was looking for.
I'm sorry.
I get it. It's in the same realm as that question that I cared about so much earlier that now I forgot what it was about boobies.
Was the YouTube thing?
Oh, the YouTube thing.
Yeah, the titty algorithm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm probably not going to look it up, but I do wish that there was an easily accessible thing where you could be like, oh, Kelley, that's in Skullface, the art of skulls and faces.
What if there's a documentary that covers both of those things in the same 90-minute format?
I'd love it, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. One more thing I want to bring up that tickled me to no end It was the fat guy at the punch bowl and that dumb cheerleader that he was talking to.
Oh yeah,
and he just carried her off on her shoulder, and she was like, "Bye."
It was nice knowing you guys. Tell my mom and dad I love them.
It felt very much like a Playboy cartoon, not like the cartoons you used to see in Playboy,
where the guy was in the bathtub talking to his own penis,
like the Dean Yeagle, or little Annie Fanny. It just had this like that whole bye. I'm gonna go get laid now.
See, again, this is a moment where I think they knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
But then you get these other nonsensical things, like him recording his own death and then playing it back. Remember that part?
And who's behind this camp?
Yeah,
I mean that's the big question. I mean, there was just like, and I was like, everything about this is really suspect to begin with. Like to go to this remote place.
And there was 3 people working there.
And Kelley said something really great in the text we were sending. You said it was like an Epstein company.
I was like, do you think this is an Epstein company?
And it made so much sense.
But then you responded really great. You're like, I think these are too mature.
That the contestants were too mature for the Epstein Corporation.
Yeah.
Like our insurance doesn't cover anyone over 16 years old. Sorry. What do we know what we're gonna do?
Not yet. It'll be a surprise.
Well, let's talk about the end of this real quick before we get into thanking our Beelzebubs, because we haven't talked about the fact that. Sorry, Kelley, little footsies for you.
Oh, it's okay. I just wasn't sure if it was you or Elsa.
She set up Allison.
Yeah, she tried to make her think she's crazy,
and
that make everybody think she's crazy.
Yeah.
All you got to do is stand by the crime scene and say, "Yes, they did it."
Yeah, she just told them that Allison was, and then they believed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Corey, the mascot. I love her. I love how she plays everybody. Like she's clearly like just a smart.
And she break dances too.
Is it simply her? Is this her revenge because they treat her like shit because she's just the mascot?
She wanted to be a cheerleader.
Yeah, she wants to be the.
And she's a better dancer than any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She should be. Like, here's the thing. She's the talent. It is that thing of the person who really is the talented one being like just kept down by their peers. Like, just because maybe they recognize
you're
that.
just a mascot.
Yeah. So it could have been a legit like underdog slasher style thing, but they were like just like, oh no, we got to put more boobies in there.
And I love that the mascots have their own little workshop where they were taught how to eat with the masks on. And she tried to shove a hot dog up her nostril.
That's pretty funny.
This movie was more ambitious than maybe they were able to pull off 100%. But
this movie was too pure for us.
It was good
at the time.
I enjoyed the bejesus out of this.
Yeah, I did too.
We had such a great time. We laughed our balls off. Me and Alise. We're now ballless.
Oh dear.
You guys got to watch Phantom of the Mall.
Yeah, we probably will.
It's so great. It's worth the $3 to buy it.
I'll buy it.
You can rent it for $1, but you want to show it to other people. It's that much fun.
All right.
And we don't know what we're doing next week yet. Okay, so these are Beelzebubs. These are our most generous supporters who love us, we love back. We love you. We want the best for you. And it's sometimes that maybe it seems like we're mad, but we're not. It's just that we want you to be healthy and happy and safe.
We're not punishing you for us. It's for you.
It hurts me more than it hurts you, is what we're saying.
Tough love.
Real quick, apparently you can watch Phantom of the Mall on YouTube.
Well, there you go. You can watch it for free.
Freddy.
Or you could
It's
actually
called Eric's Revenge, right?
support the people whose job it is to. I'm being higher.
All right, Beelzebubs are.
I can't hear you from my high horse. Alise.
I love you. I'll see you soon.
Ernie. Perez. Mark Watts.
What's up?
Bill Farner. Blake Heath. Jeremy Cassie and Gamora, the Burmeisters.
Hi.
Jeff L.
Jeff L.
Iona Goodwin.
On a great one.
Emily and Branan, who we saw at the meetup.
It was lovely to see your faces.
It was great. Joe Juvland, who we also got to see.
Mr. George James.
Joe Juvland was George James fan. Bill Chandler, who we missed.
Aww.
Meetups are not the same without Bill. We had a good one though. We did we just had fun questions. We did like we do Topicana.
Yeah.
And if you want to listen to that, that's join the Patreon. Same with the meetups. Blayne Turner, Monica Martinson, Paul Gauthier.
Ooh, Paul has a birthday coming up. So
Oh my
happy future birthday.
gracious.
Yeah. Alyssa Boehm.
She also has a future birthday coming up.
I do too.
Someday.
You do.
We should all be so lucky.
Oh my gosh. Happy birthday to us.
I know.
Dr. Brian. Dave TV. Siebert. Seems like such an old man bit when you think about it.
Will Dave get it?
Oh, Dave will get it.
Oh, Dave will get it.
He'll get it. Carla Gibson. Dustin Chisam and Ace.
Aw.
Attorneys at law. Attorneys at Paul.
Oh!
I've made that joke
You've
before.
made that joke before.
It's a classic.
That was quite the roller coaster ride for you.
It was. You guys.
Yeah.
You guys took me through the whole range of emotions.
And last but not least, Lynn Walsh.
I come from Lynn down under. I started to do a weird thing, and then I was like, I gotta get out of that.
I come.
I was gonna do a real vibrato. I was gonna vibrate.
Instead, you've made us all feel uncomfortable.
I come.
Not uncomfortable enough. But anyway, I'll do it better next time.
Do you want to tease your top? Oh,
Yeah,
Freddie
tease
already
it.
started the
No,
music.
tease
Oh
it.
no, I don't have it yet.
Oh, okay. So that's the biggest tease of all.
Topicana coming next week.
Yeah, boy.
All right, bye.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy Leatherface put on